Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is your host, Liba, and I'm so happy that you are here today. If you are learning English and sometimes feel that you understand words when you read them, but not when you hear them, then this episode is especially for you. Today's topic is train your ears, not your eyes. Now, let me ask you a simple question. Do you spend more time reading English or listening to it? Most English learners focus a lot on reading. They read books, notes, messages, and maybe even subtitles. And yes, reading is helpful. But here's the problem. In real life, people don't speak like a book. They speak fast, they connect words, and sometimes they don't sound clear. So when you only train your eyes, your brain becomes good at recognizing written English, but not spoken English. And that's why many learners say, I can read English very well, but I can't understand when someone speaks. If this sounds like you, don't worry. In today's episode, I will help you understand why listening is so important and how you can train your ears step by step in a simple and easy way. By the end of this podcast, you will have clear ideas, practical tips, and a new way to improve your English faster. So stay with me, and let's begin this journey together. Now let's talk about a very common problem that many English learners face. You study English for months, maybe even years. You learn grammar rules, you memorize vocabulary, and you practice reading. When you see English written on paper or on your phone, you understand it very well. But then, something happens. When someone speaks English in real life, you feel confused. You hear the words, but you cannot understand the meaning clearly. It feels too fast, it feels unclear, and sometimes it feels like a completely different language. Have you ever said this before? I know this word, but I didn't catch it when they said it. This is the common problem. The truth is, English in real life is not the same as English in books. People don't speak slowly, they don't pause after every word. They connect words together, they reduce sounds, sometimes they even change the pronunciation. For example, want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna. So when you only learn English by reading, your brain is not ready for these real-life sounds. Another problem is that many learners depend too much on subtitles. When you watch videos, your eyes are working, but your ears are not really learning, so your brain becomes strong in reading but weak in listening. And this creates frustration. You may feel shy to talk. You may feel nervous when someone speaks to you, and you may start thinking, maybe English is too difficult for me. But the real problem is not your ability. The real problem is that you trained your eyes more than your ears. And the good news is, you can fix this. In the next part, we will understand what it really means to train your ears and how it can change your English learning journey. Now let's understand something very important. Why is listening more important than reading when you are learning English? First, think about how we learn our first language as children. Did we start by reading books? No. We started by listening. We listened to our parents, our family, and people around us every day. Slowly, our brain learned the sounds, the rhythm, and the meaning of words. After that, we started speaking, and much later, we learned how to read and write. So listening comes first. It is natural. It is how language really works. Now let's connect this idea to English learning. If you focus more on listening, your brain starts to understand how English sounds in real life. You begin to notice how words are connected, how sentences flow, and how native speakers actually speak. Listening also helps you improve your pronunciation. When you hear correct English again and again, your brain remembers the sound. Then when you speak, your pronunciation becomes more natural. Another important point is speed. When you read, you can go slowly, you can stop, think, and understand. But in real conversations, you don't have that time. People speak quickly, and you need to understand immediately. Listening practice trains your brain to process English faster. Also, listening builds confidence. When you understand what people are saying, you feel more relaxed, you don't feel lost in conversations, you can respond better, and you enjoy speaking more. On the other hand, if you only focus on reading, you may know many words, but you will still struggle to understand spoken English. So here's the simple truth. If you want to speak better, you must listen more. If you want to understand people, you must train your ears. Reading is helpful, but listening is the key to real communication. In the next part, we will learn what it really means to train your ears and how you can start doing it step by step. Now let's clearly understand the difference between learning with your eyes and learning with your ears. This is very important because many learners don't even realize that they are using only one method. First, let's talk about learning with your eyes. Eyes learning means reading. It includes reading books, notes, messages, subtitles, and anything written in English. When you read, you see every word clearly. Words are separate. Sentences are clean. Grammar is correct. You also have time. You can stop, go back, and read again. This makes reading feel easy and comfortable. But here's the problem. Real English is not like this. Now let's talk about ears learning. Ears learning means listening to real spoken English. It includes conversations, podcasts, videos, movies, and real-life speech. When you listen, you don't see the words. You only hear sounds. And these sounds are not always clear. People speak fast. They join words together. They reduce sounds. Sometimes they even skip sounds. For example, did you eat may sound like did ya eat? What are you doing may sound like what you doing? So if your brain is only trained to see words, it will feel confused when it hears these sounds. Another big difference is control. When you read, you control the speed. When you listen, the speaker controls the speed. That is why listening feels more difficult. But this difficulty is actually a good thing. It trains your brain to understand English in real situations. Let me explain it in a simple way. Reading teaches you what English looks like. Listening teaches you what English sounds like. And in real life, communication is about sound, not text. So if you want to understand people, speak naturally, and feel confident, you must train your ears, not just your eyes. In the next section, we will talk about the biggest mistakes learners make when they ignore listening and how you can avoid them. Now let's move to the most important part of this episode. How can you train your ears every day in a simple and practical way? Don't worry, these tips are easy, and you can start them today. Tip number 1, listen every day, even for a short time. You don't need hours. Just 10 to 20 minutes daily is enough. The key is consistency. You can listen to podcasts, short videos, or simple conversations. Choose content that matches your level. Not too easy, not too difficult. Tip number 2, listen actively, not passively. Don't just play English in the background. Sit, focus, and really try to understand. Ask yourself, what did I hear? Which words did I catch? Even if you understand only 30% or 40%, it is okay. You are training your brain. Tip number 3, repeat what you hear. This is a very powerful method. Listen to a short sentence, pause, and repeat it. Try to copy the sound, the rhythm, and the pronunciation. This is called shadowing. It helps your ears and your speaking at the same time. Tip number 4, listen first, then read. If your content has subtitles or a script, don't read it first. First, listen carefully. Then check the subtitles to understand what you missed. This trains your ears instead of your eyes. Tip number 5, listen to the same audio again. Repetition is very important. When you listen to the same audio 2 or 3 times, your understanding becomes better each time. First time, you catch a few words. Second time, you understand more. Third time, you understand most of it. Tip number 6, start with slow English, then move to real speed. If you are a beginner, start with slow and clear English. But don't stay there forever. Slowly challenge yourself with normal, natural speech. This will prepare you for real conversations. Tip number 7, make listening a habit. You can listen while walking, traveling, or relaxing. Turn small moments into learning time. The more you listen, the stronger your ears become. Remember, the goal is not to understand everything perfectly. The goal is to improve little by little every day. In the next section, we will talk about how long it takes to see results and how to stay motivated during your learning journey. Now let's talk about some of the biggest mistakes that English learners make when they ignore listening. Understanding these mistakes is very important because once you see them, you can avoid them easily. Mistake number 1, focusing too much on reading and grammar. Many learners spend most of their time reading books and learning grammar rules. Of course, grammar is important, but if you only study grammar and never listen, your English becomes book English, not real-life English. You may know many rules, but when someone speaks to you, you still feel lost. Mistake number 2, depending too much on subtitles. When you watch videos or movies, do you always turn on subtitles? If yes, then your eyes are doing all the work. Your brain is reading, not listening. So even after watching many videos, your listening does not improve much. Mistake number 3, avoiding difficult listening. Some learners only listen to very slow and easy English. They are afraid of fast or natural speech. But in real life, people don't speak slowly all the time. If you avoid difficult listening, your ears will never get stronger. Mistake number 4, listening without focus. Sometimes learners play English in the background while doing other things. They think they are practicing listening. But if you are not paying attention, your brain is not learning. Listening needs focus, especially in the beginning. Mistake number 5, giving up too quickly. Many learners try listening, don't understand much, and then stop. They think, this is too hard for me. But remember, listening is a skill, and every skill takes time to improve. At first, it is normal to understand only a few words. Slowly, your understanding will grow. So don't stop too early. Now, here's the good news. If you avoid these mistakes and start training your ears in the right way, your English will improve faster than you expect. In the next section, I will share simple and practical ways to train your ears every day, even if you are a beginner. Now let's understand something very interesting. How does your brain actually learn a language? This will help you see why listening is so powerful. Your brain learns language through patterns and repetition. When you hear English again and again, your brain starts to recognize sounds. At first, everything feels unclear. It may sound like noise, but slowly your brain begins to separate words, understand meanings, and connect ideas. This process takes time, but it works naturally. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't use it for listening, it stays weak in that area. But when you listen regularly, your brain becomes stronger and faster at understanding sounds. Another important point is that your brain does not learn words only by meaning. It also learns them by sound. For example, if you only read the word comfortable, you may think it is spoken exactly like it is written. But when you hear it in real life, it often sounds like comfortable. So your brain needs to hear real pronunciation to truly understand the language. Also, your brain learns better when it hears the same thing many times. Repetition helps your brain store information in long-term memory. That is why listening to the same audio again and again is very helpful. At first, you may feel slow, but after regular listening, something amazing happens. Your brain starts to understand English automatically without translating into your own language. And this is the goal: to understand English naturally, just like you understand your first language. So remember, your brain learns language through listening, repetition, and real sounds. Train your ears daily, and your brain will do the rest. In the next part, we will talk about how long it takes to see results and how you can stay motivated during this journey. Thank you for listening and watching Talk Smart English. 3. Take care. and goodbye.